count on technical director Kyle Mercier. Weeknights on News 2.
Details for this one only. Live with coverage you can count on.
Am I good?
This is
Zoom up,
News
zoom it
2
up.
at 11.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Carolyn Murray.
It's good to have you here. I'm Brendan Clark.
Stay
No
here.
secret, it is cold outside. Question is how
Stay on
long
camera three,
this
Rob.
cold temperature is going to be around.
Well, Rob says it looks like we are finally into winter. Our chief meteorologist is standing by the Weather
Stay
Center with a look at the dropping
Rob,
temperatures
Rob's
tonight.
up.
Hey, Rob.
Q.
Yeah, dropping temperatures and winds picking up, so that's going to be a combination
Winds up,
that
stand
will
by
be
graphics.
pretty chilly tomorrow with low wind chills in the teens. Let's see what's going on right
Graphics up.
now. We have some clouds
Stand by
that
camera two.
moved on through, but now those clouds are moving on out, and what that means is with clear skies, we'll see some pretty good
Kristen, do you want that
air
graphic
that's
back
gonna
there, or
be
do you
moving
want
on
it to
in. We don't have those clouds to serve as a blanket to keep that heat close to the Earth's surface.
10-4.
Actually, a little
Stand by
burst
camera
of
two.
snow going on right north of Columbia, through the Hartsville area, and then off towards the North Myrtle Beach area in Wilmington. But that's not going to impact us. We're just going to
30
be in the
seconds for
cold
Ryan.
air as that snow is starting to dry up as it moves eastbound. So
I'm here to talk a little bit more about the candidates and tonight's results in New Hampshire. Looking ahead to South Carolina is Brady Quirk-Gervin with the Democrats, and we've got Joe Semsar talking with the GOP side of things. Guys, we appreciate you staying late and staying with us about this.
Stand by
Brady,
gas.
start with you. Talk about the
Gas
Democratic
can.
side. Everyone expected Bernie Sanders to win this one, but I think the numbers were so impressive. He won basically every demographic, even women voted.
Stand by
He
camera
did. He won.
One's
You know,
up.
this was a 20-point lead for him, which is certainly much bigger than any of us expected. So I think the real question is
Brady?
now coming into South Carolina, what kind of momentum
yes,
does this
I think
have
they
for
were.
him? And can he
Yeah.
translate that to voters
Stand by
that are a
camera
little
two.
more diverse here in
Do
South
you think he
Carolina?
can? I mean, it's a different ball game here in South Carolina.
It's a very different ball game, and politics are a little more rough and tumble here in South Carolina. So I think we're in for a fun couple of weeks, and we're really looking forward to it here in South
Two's up.
Carolina.
Yeah, Joe, we were talking about this earlier, and you were describing that the voting situation and the ability to vote is very different here in South Carolina compared to the other contests we've seen before in Iowa and New Hampshire.
Yeah, that's right. So in
One's up.
Iowa and New
Joe?
Hampshire, you have what's
Joe,
called
name in.
same-day voting. So voters can go to the polls and day of register to vote.
Joe, name
That's
out.
not the case here in South
Stand by
Carolina.
two.
If you want to vote in the Republican or Democratic primary, you actually have to
Video's
register
up.
about 2 or 3 weeks in advance. So on the Republican side, that was January 20th, and then on the Democratic side, that was January 27th.
Yeah, Chris Christie, this big announcement coming late this evening, do you think we'll hear much more from him?
Well, one of the things that I think folks should look at is in New Hampshire, in order to actually get delegates, you've got to hit a 10% threshold.
One's up.
And Chris Christie has missed that by about
Two.
2%. And so I think what he'll likely do is take a step back and reconsider whether or not he wants to move forward.
Two's up.
We're going to see all these candidates stepping up in South Carolina because it was so close on the side of the GOP, and because Hillary kind of wants to make up after New Hampshire. They're going to be here stomping a lot.
That's right. Hillary said
One's up.
repeatedly that South Carolina is her firewall. That's the
Okay.
term she keeps using.
Great.
And so the question is, how strong
Brady
is
name
that
out. Stand by
firewall,
two.
and what kind of results can she produce
Two.
here in South Carolina?
Two's
She's
up.
going to be spending a lot of time herself here, and certainly sending President Clinton and a number of surrogates to the state to try
Stand by
and
video.
win the voters over here.
And she started kind of feeding into that already tonight. We heard in her message kind of playing toward the South Carolina potential voter for her.
That's
What?
right.
What's
I
up?
think they knew going into this
Yeah.
that they were likely to lose New Hampshire. So what they're trying
Kristen,
to
make sure
say
you
is
get
this is a
prompter after
long
this
game.
video
They're
for us,
looking
please,
ahead to
because she's
South
gotta get the,
Carolina
guests off
and
the
the
bat.
SEC states that come after that.
If you don't mind.
So that's their sort of pitch is
Like two.
give us some more time and we can do
Two's
this.
up.
All right,
All right, we're
Joe,
done. Thank you. Stand
Great,
by
always
video.
great to see you both. Thank you very much for your expertise. We'll
Thanks so
see you a
much.
little bit later in the season. Thank
Video.
you.
Right, stay here.
Live with coverage you can
Camera
count
two.
on. This is
Up,
News
Q.
2 at 5.
Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Brendan Clark.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Carolyn Murray.
Camera
We
three.
begin with breaking news. The Coast Guard has suspended its search for missing kayaker Dean
Stand by video.
Britt. Britt is one of 2 kayakers who disappeared from Folly Beach on Saturday.
Hands up.
He and Logan Brown set out to kayak to Morris Island
by camera two.
around 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon. Near 10 p.m., they were
Stand by,
reported
Colby.
missing. Rescuers found Brown
Stand by,
around
Robert O'Brien.
2:30 yesterday afternoon, but more than 48 hours later, still no sign of Britt.
Boxes.
News 2's Colby Thielen has
Boxes are
been
up.
on this story since the weekend and joins us now from the Coast Guard station for the very latest information. Colby, what have you found out?
QQQ. Colby's up.
Yeah, we were notified about 40 minutes ago that this is no longer a search and rescue mission, but a recovery mission. Right now, I'm being joined live by Petty Officer Steve Lehman. Officer, you guys
We
have
have
been
a
out
super
here
for this
for
guy, or
about 43 hours. What have been the resources that you guys have used in this search?
Well, the Coast Guard has brought air assets from as far away as Clearwater, Florida, and we've also searched for some of our bigger cutters, small boats, helicopters. We've brought them all to bear here within about 3,000 square foot mile search area.
Now, he was arrested less than a week ago in Somerville on similar charges. At that time, we asked for his name and his mugshot, but police wouldn't give us that information.
My boxes?
The investigation was still ongoing. We also found out today Powell was released on bond a day after his first arrest.
Turn it to 2.
This is Ashley Yost, live in Somerville with more on this story. Good evening, Ashley.
Boxes are up. QQQ. Ashley.
Good evening, Brennan. And we talked to neighbors who live in this community where the crime allegedly happened, and they're
cool. Did you give my updated anchor intro and stuff?
Today, why his identity was not released the minute he was let out of jail.
Okay, yeah, because I texted it and then are you W Wagers, right? Either way, I sent it to you.
Yeah, he's being released from jail.
No. When a person is released from jail on charges such as this, the victim is notified of the release. It would be
120 left in pack.
impossible
Send me back out to Ashley.
for the jail to call everybody in the town, let's say, or Tri-County area, saying this person is released from jail. The notifications that are made to the victim.
The crimes allegedly
Far from
happened
over.
here, just a couple of streets down
Stand
from
by,
where
Ashley.
he lives. Neighbors are concerned about a man charged with violent crimes being back in their neighborhood.
Just because an arrest has been made doesn't mean the investigation is concluded. It's far from over.
She's back up.
And we talked to neighbors who said they would have wanted to know his name. Some of them didn't even
Camera
know
3
that
out of
this
this.
had
Camera
happened.
3.
Again, Powell will be
Travis,
on
stand by.
court tonight. We'll have the latest for you at 11. Live right now in Somerville.
Camera 3.
I'm Ashley Yost. News 2.
All right, thank you, Ashley.
All right, thank you, Ashley. A Hanahan woman is in jail in connection with her mother's death. News 2's Travis Rai spoke to a family friend of both the victim and the suspect and is live at Hanahan with the latest. Travis, what have you found out?
Travis up. QQQ.
Hey, good evening, Carolyn. The details for this one only get more disturbing. Paula Anderson is under arrest or is facing charges, I should say, for her mother's death. And today, the coroner announced that her mother, Frances Anderson, was strangled. Now, Paula Anderson was arrested Monday morning, shortly after authorities had discovered her mother's body at their house in Hanahan. 68-year-old Frances Anderson is the name of the victim. Again, authorities had arrested Paula Anderson Monday morning, but they did not make her arrest public until today. Earlier today, I spoke with a neighbor who had known both Paula and Frances for 22 years.
Thoughts up.
They've had this kind of relationship rocky for the last few
15
years.
seconds.
But Paula's never threatened to kill her mother or
Was
anything
very
like
sick.
that.
Was very sick.
But she's had mental problems for a very, very long time.
QQQ. Wrong out.
Paula Anderson is being held at county jail on no bail.
Send my camera 1.
Live in Hanahan, Travis Rice, News 2.
All right, thank you, Travis.
A march this afternoon as several members of Tent City downtown walk to Charleston City Hall. Marchers will sit in at the Charleston City Council meeting, which began right now, 5 o'clock. They're hoping to talk during the public comment period, asking City Council members to allow the building of tiny houses. As we've told you, a portion of Tent City was taken down last week, and the rest expected to be demolished within 60 days.
Video's up, Q.
A North Charleston house fire sent family members to the hospital and killed a small dog. It happened early this morning at the corner of Ashley Phosphate and Tanglewood Drive. 2 people were in the house at the time of that fire. 1 person was taken to the hospital suffering from burns. North Charleston Fire Department is now looking into the cause of that fire.
One's up.
The Shem Creek debate continues tonight after a heated conversation erupted during a news conference at Shem Creek yesterday. Mount Pleasant Town Council will meet in less than an hour. This news Matt Alba joins us live outside Council Chambers. Matt, we expecting more of the same tonight?
QQQ. Hey, good evening, Brendan.
Well, there's no agenda items considering the issue at Shem Creek. But what's interesting on this agenda is the issue of maximum building heights along Coleman Boulevard. They're considering lowering the maximum building heights in the Coleman Boulevard Overlay District and the urban corridor to 45 feet at the highest point with a maximum of 3 stories. One council member said this issue will likely go back to committee before any action is taken. Some buildings can build to 75 feet, but clarification on this issue will come at tonight's meeting. Yesterday, developers of a large office and garage being built over at Shem Creek said their project was not on tonight's agenda, but they'll be in attendance because it could be added later.
Thoughts up.
There's been a history in the past of items making it on the agenda at the last minute. So I think
that could
we should keep
exist.
our eyes and
That
ears
could
open
exist.
for the possibilities that
Stand by,
can
Alba.
exist.
QQQ.
Now, this is the first time council is meeting since they had a special town council meeting last Friday in which council passed a motion to have town staff look into appraising properties over at Shem Creek. Now, because there are no agenda items specifically about this, we don't know what's going to be said, but we do expect some residents and business owners here tonight talking about that motion that was passed last week. We'll have a live look inside coming up at 6 o'clock. Right now, we're live in Mount Pleasant. I'm Matt Alba for News 2.
The widow of Reverend Clemente Pinckney is taking her tragic experience and turning it into a lesson for others. Jennifer Pinckney will speak during a forum on faith and race at Duke University tonight. Her husband and 8 others were shot and killed last June during Bible study at Emmanuel AME. Dylan Ruth is accused of those murders. He's facing charges both state and federal. Ruth is set to appear in court this week.
News 2 at 5 is just getting started.
Stay away from Maine restaurants, you fat, uneducated cow.
Wow. Q.
Wow, comments like that one have one woman afraid to go out to dinner again after she received backlash for leaving a negative comment about a restaurant on social media.
All right, it's traffic time on your Tuesday afternoon. Right now, not really having to do any problems with the elements, even though we've got a few sprinkles in the area, but we are finding the roadways. Typical slowdown around the Merge.
Wait, can we go ahead and change this traffic camera for our next hit? I don't like the one we're using right now.
Right now, the Rapidan Bridge is looking pretty good. Downtown, we've got a slowdown coming and going on Meeting Street. It looks like King Street as well. And then over towards Savannah Highway, it looks like that slow commute out of town.
Yeah, I don't like that black. Just wish it could.
Right now, your drive time 30 minutes to Somerville Exit from downtown.
I gotta take it now.
24 minutes to the 52 connector and 30 minutes Mount Pleasant to West Ashland. There's a live look at
unless you want to change it, you
right
got
now
control.
looking pretty good on the
as well.
Bridge.
You can log in.
Clouds, and you see the camera moving around as well. It's windy. Good firm grip on the steering wheel.
All right, done with that.
You're watching News 2 at 5.
Fade down in 3, 2, 1. Fade at Blacks Online. 3 minutes. 3 minutes back.